Hello, Thaddeus. It's a day of the week. I'm not sure what day of the week it is, especially since you're about half a day ahead of us, and it could be a different day of the week already. I'm not actually sure when it's going to end up being that I upload this video. Hopefully I will have it done sooner than later, though if you're watching this video now, the hopefully part would not actually be relevant because sooner would already be later. At the time of filming this, however, I have recently learned that Neil Armstrong has died. I say that we should have a moment of silence in his honor. Or perhaps we should punch out a moon landing denialist a la Buzz Aldrin. Personally, I prefer the latter option, mainly because it's more fun. Anyways, ever since you went to Qingdao, China, located here for the benefit of the studio audience, I've been bugged by our ensemble cast of The Office Graduate Edition as to whether or not we have communicated. The answer to that is, of course, yes. While there is still written communication just doesn't get across the sort of awesomeness that is us having a conversation amongst ourselves for the benefit of those around us. The problem is, I and the rest of the cast am located here, for those playing along at home, and the nearly half-day time differential makes communication problematic, especially if we're going to Skype or have some sort of chat. Now, we could write to each other, and then I could accurately convey the transcripts to the rest of the cast, and they could get some vague notion of the informational programming that we provide. However, it just would not be the same because they wouldn't be sitting there listening to us talk to each other and absorbing the information and becoming better human beings, which is, of course, the goal of any time we communicate. So I have devised a plan. Part of this plan came to me while I was watching a bunch of John and Hank Green videos rather than actually planning for my class, because I had this idea that my students should read Aristotle and Kenneth Burke rather than, say, the textbook, which distills them down into worthless information that never helped anybody be a better human being. So here's the idea that I came up with. We should rip off John and Hank Green. That way, our fellow cast members could absorb the informational programming in the original medium. And I decided that this was a very good idea for how we should communicate with each other. So having this idea, I wrote a note to myself, my future self that is, to travel back in time and give us this idea before you left for China. Now, the fact that you had this idea at approximately before you left means one thing. Time travel exists in the future. I don't know if we invented it or somebody else invented it, but sometime within the next 50 to 75 years, unless of course they somehow extend human lifespans, somebody invents time travel and we have access to it. This is awesome. Now, I can't guarantee that hoverboards will exist because that's a different branch of science, and those scientists in that branch are inherently lazy. They have 2-3 years left? See, it's 2012, so yeah, three years left. Either way, this idea solves our communications dilemma. So here's what I'm proposing. 1 video per person per week with no punishments whatsoever, because I'm not a sadist, and I'm also lazy, and I have other things to do. Thaddeus, I will see you whenever you decide to upload.